印尼之旅第8日，亦係我哋喺科莫多船宿嘅第3日。我哋今日嘅主要任務就係落海裏面尋寶，而第一件要揾嘅寶物就係福粉 （manta ray）， 亦即係嗰隻喺海裏面游得好慢、好扁、好闊，大家當佢係魔鬼魚嘅龐然大物。我哋去一個叫 Manta Point 嘅地方揾佢哋。雖然呢個地方係以佢哋命名，但係阿 Hans 話能唔能夠見到佢哋係一群定係一隻，完全都係緣分。我哋隻艇仔喺 Manta Point 浮游咗冇耐， Hans 同埋阿 Shafa 突然間大喊 Manta Manta， 大家就鳥獸散咁跳晒落海啦。眼前只見一堆腳影同埋一堆氣泡，大家本能地向住 Hans 嘅方向游過去。冇幾耐，我哋就見到一隻孤獨嘅 Manta。 緣分造就我哋見到 Manta， 但係緣分唔完全企喺我哋嗰邊。 Manta 好似想戲弄我哋咁，逆流離我哋而去。佢輕鬆咁樣蠕動佢嘅鰭，而我哋即使點樣奮力咁踢腿，都係追趕唔上。Hans 知道我哋逆流追趕 Manta 用咗唔少體力，所以跟住就安排我哋去咗一個沙洲度慢慢休息。沙洲係位於一個連綿有1公里長嘅淺水區域，即使係潮漲，水不及腰，企喺中間遠睇好似水上漂咁，確實係一個打卡勝地。唞夠之後，我哋好快就走去揾我哋今日要揾嘅第2件寶物——海龜。其實我一直都唔係好明白，點解咁多人會沉迷 free dive？ 唔帶樽，就算唔係潛到10零20米，始終都係一定危險。我唔係冇試過，不過可能我仲未掌握到點樣可以平衡耳壓，所以唔係好識享受 free dive 嘅樂趣。命運之神造就我哋遇上 Manta， 但係代價就係我哋嘅 GoPro 要離我哋而去。喺影完 Manta 離我哋越嚟越遠嘅身影之後，我哋新買嘅 GoPro 就咁死喺我哋面前。Rob 好好人，佢話佢自己都唔太識用佢嘅 GoPro， 將佢嘅 GoPro 借俾我哋，順便叫我哋影下佢哋喺水裏面嘅倩影。呢個地方叫做 Turtle Point， 亦即係海龜嘅地點。 名副其實，冇幾耐我哋就見到海龜。早上我哋見到嘅龜都係好年輕嘅龜，而越年輕嘅龜就越怕人，幾乎係見人就走，所以我哋根本冇機會同佢哋一齊游水，好好咁睇清楚佢哋。食飽飯之後，因為唔想再佔用 Rob 嘅 GoPro， 我決定用嗰個坐咗好耐冷板凳嘅相機防水袋，再落水去尋龜。因為有氣泡喺個相機防水袋裏面，要將佢帶落水裏面深潛，實在有難度，所以我唯有分享 Shafa 用佢嘅 GoPro 影嘅龜片段。 睇完 Shafa 影嘅呢啲近距離龜片段，我終於明白點解啲人咁着迷 free dive， 甚至乎 scuba， 因為喺海裡面能夠同 manta、海龜呢啲咁嘅動物一齊游水，感覺就好似識飛咁。
Top of a parking garage, looking down at the street lights, count down with the tick of the clock, the city's coming to life, while we're lost somewhere in the future, making plans in our own little
Turtle Point 呢個海灣嘅磨砂玻璃水，除咗適合浮潛 free dive，仲適合喺船頭斜崖嗰度玩跳水。
Bicycle shop while you're flipping through a magazine, sundress and 70s rock. It's 3:15 and we're lost somewhere in the future, making plans in our own little world. Why don't we spend more time together talking about nothing at all?
一輪單人花式表演之後，終於輪到雙人花式啦。我本來諗住可以輕易兩個人同步，可以影到佢由水面跳到落水底，但係雙人花式跳水真係好講求默契。
準備，1、2、3。
Spend more time together talking about nothing at all. Waste the day like we've got forever. Hey, I'm having a ball. Why don't we spend more time together?
每日都有日出日落，但每個日落都係獨一無二。地點、天氣、同伴同埋自己嘅心境，令到每一個日落都有所不同。今日嘅日落零舍特別，除咗因為係喺科莫多嘅海上高見到嘅日落，亦因為呢個係我哋喺科莫多嘅海上面最後一個日落。船員好有心思， 為我哋準備咗一個沙灘晚餐，作為我哋喺科莫多最後一晚嘅晚餐。旅遊期間，大家都唔會帶啲咩靚衫，但係大家都不約而同為今晚 dress up 少少。我哋登島嘅時候，正正就係日落最靚嘅時刻。沙灘冇其他遊客，淨係得我哋同埋我哋嘅姊妹船兩堆人獨佔呢個沙灘。
After we have a long day and great days together, enjoy your last dinner with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
It is very, very pretty.
You cannot believe
Yes, yeah.
I've made bold statements like that before when there's been like a computer at the end of the table and Kelly's gone, why have you invited them to? You know, so this time she's not hitting me under the table. What are you doing that for?
You guys are so lucky, and thank you for being us like that.
「良朋美食，離別依依，令到夢幻嘅一晚更加難忘。」
Yeah.
So we were just unsure.
And the range is very good. We weren't all
行程嘅第9日，亦係我哋船宿嘅第4日，冇乜嘢特別嘅行程， 食完早餐去浮潛之前，個海平靜得好似個鏡面咁，令大家忍唔住要喺呢個咁平靜嘅海面上高玩直立板。
似模似樣。
喺回程嘅途上，我哋經過一片好靚嘅珊瑚礁，於是我哋又再跳落水，做呢次船宿裏面最後一次浮潛。
My mind's a wrecking ball, swinging in between doubts and fears and all the things that I can't see. In a world where all the parts feel incomplete, you're the one and only ever constant thing. You make my heart feel alive. You help open up my eyes of all that I've seen come and go. You're like nothing I've known. Hold on to me, I hold on to you. You'll always be one thing I can't lose. Of anything I am and all I'll ever do, you'll always be one thing I can't lose. I don't know how the days they go, blink of an eye. But I know the wars I'm in aren't losing fight. You break all the walls I built. You're a different kind of real. Of all that I've seen come and go, you know me like nobody knows. Hold on to me, I hold on to you. You'll always be one thing I can't lose. Of anything I am and all I'll ever do, you'll always be one thing I can't lose. Hold on to me, I'll hold on to you. You'll always be one thing I can't lose.
Like wood burning through the night.
我哋最後一站係去呢個叫 Kanawa 嘅島度 hea， 游水嘅游水，曬太陽嘅曬太陽。島上高有一個茶水亭，當我哋都各有各精彩嘅時候，幾個船員就喺個茶水亭嗰度 hea。茶水亭播緊嘅係 Bob Marley 1975年呢首歌嘅現場版本。唔知點解，我覺得呢首歌好適合呢個情景。講緊嘅唔係呢個島，唔係呢個沙灘，而係離別在即，大家都依依不捨。但係大家都唔會將呢個情感流露出嚟，只係好好咁享受當下呢個時刻。
The crew, I would like to say thank you so much for coming to Labuan Bajo, and thank you so much for trusting Samara Liverboat to organize your trip in Komodo and Labuan Bajo.
Take care, everyone. Safe trip. All right, take care, bro.
Thank you so much for coming, Brian.
Thank you so much, Brian.
Thank you. Thank you for the photos and the video.
Ciao, ciao.
我都唔知點解當其時我冇用英文同佢哋 say goodbye， 而係用自己嘅母語講再見。但係諗翻轉頭，英文嘅再見其實意思並唔係再見，只有中文、廣東話講再見嘅時候，心裏面其實真係想再見。我又唔知點解會將呢個鏡頭拍到蒙查查。但係唔緊要啊，心裏面記憶呢隻船，呢次船宿係最清晰不過。就係咁樣，日落時分，腦裏面播住肖邦嘅華爾茲。我哋第一次唔係再向東，而係向住西方紅色嘅天空，向住我哋印尼之旅最後一站巴黎進發，完成我哋第9日嘅旅程。